in Bosnia-Herzegovina. This is the last match of day number 1 of the PLP, the Premier League pool. I'm Jeremy Jones with Scott. It's been an interesting day, right? I think for the most part, excusing a few people, even though they won all their matches, even one or two maybe. It's been an up and down day for most players.
Yeah, early we saw a lot of tactical kind of grind matches we didn't really expect. Sometimes in this format, you'll see a lot of 5-1, 5-2 matches. We've seen several 5-4 matches.
Yeah, and for day one, the feeling I get is like a perfect combination of very serious, of course, professional, but also trying to settle in and after a long week at the European Open, real lighthearted between the guys, which they always are. They're a great group.
Take a look at that break, the power he comes with there.
Yeah, and Eklund will tell you it hadn't been the break today to really slow him down.
Probably not going to like me talking about this, Jeremy. He and I are pretty close, but he was telling me he's not too comfortable with the pockets right yet.
Yeah, he and I were discussing a few things just moments ago, and I think he's just got to lean on it, you know what I mean? Just keep hitting the ball clean, and it'll dress up. He's going to go into the 3 probably here. Off the rail, maybe. And just, kind of like do your thing, right? Don't back off. Because he's certainly one. I mean, everyone's trying to win the tournament, but if you're talking about a guy that is certainly here to win, that's what he does, and is capable of doing it. He's one of the guys.
Yeah, what a big opener he just come with there. Split the back of the pocket in the lower right. Went into the 3 like JJ touched on. Got to come with one more. I mean, he can afford to be out in the middle here, right? And just take a steep cut on the 5 if he wanted.
Yeah, he may be stunning. He missed one badly in a match earlier. I like him just puring at one rail, smoothing it down.
Exactly.
Yeah, when he's really playing.
Well, this was kind of my fear. I don't know if he's got stuck or not, but I felt like it was a little risky coming that way.
Yeah, but the way he played it, he didn't really offer missing the ball. Kind of like the first 2 shots show me he may have had a little talk with himself, like, hey, let's get back to hitting the ball clean and just see what happens. Because he makes great decisions and stuff like that. He's great. When he has this part going, that's when it gets kind of extra special. Used to go a little bit to make it comfortable.
Yeah, I think it just got there. Yeah, and Yapp, not one that's talked about quite as much. Just real silent to me a lot of times. One of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah, he's, if you put a department of different things on what they exceed at, or excel at, rather, and, once Yapp gets in line, he's as good as anyone staying in line. Just really, really great with the cue ball and decisions from ball to ball. Well, as good as we've seen, I think, today.
Yeah, especially from him. I think that was as clean as it gets.
Yeah, 3 pure ones to open and then close game 1.
First round, played his brother. Lost 5 games to 4. Can't be easy playing your brother. I would assume it's probably better to get it out of the way early.
Yeah, I only recall playing my brother once. I know it happened more than that, but a long time ago when we first started playing. Funny story, but yeah.
Shout out to Drew.
Yeah, Drew's he Yeah, not easy playing your road buddy. We saw it with the Code Brothers a few times when they had to play. One time here, actually at the PLP last year. It was a bit of a rough match.
They played later in the, I think in the final day or day before.
I think they played twice, actually, in the first round, and then they both advanced, I believe, anyways, and had to play again in the second round robin.
Yeah, it was a key situation. Key moment.
This is where he's really improved. Not only more power, but just a little better spreads. One down at a higher percentage.
Going back to the Code Brothers, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. You'll just notice sometimes you could see it. I think anyone could see it between the first two breakoffs. The movement on the object ball's much different. I'd love to see that to where we could put a little GPS on those things and see how much one player gets as far as movement off the rack compared to others.
Year and a half or so, he's really dialed in his defensive side.
Yeah, and real good kicker of the ball here. Eklund, excuse me. And what he'd like to do here is you pick out a line to where you're kind of cutting the two. You're hoping to cut the two to the bottom rail, and then the cue ball follows on down as the two goes back up. Avoid the double kiss. He caught it on the other side. That's the one that sells out a little more often. Good hit, though. And a lot of value in the hit, huh, Scott, with the 4 the way it is, right? I mean, just don't give up ball in hand there, and you like your chances of getting back to the table.
Yeah, I think somebody like yourself here would even really just be thinking about somehow trapping them on the 4.
They sat. You could have banked the 2 away and opened the 4 right there and sat them down real soft, in a soft manner. They were just sitting real nice to do so. To where really you lock them up big time, I think. Might have a free bank. You never know in a moment where he could stun forward behind the 8 if he falls just right. On the pink, right? Like almost.
Yeah, you just have to avoid the 8, but
too much cut here, I think. You want to be a little below it or straight on, right? To stun forward and have shape on the 5 while you're holding them on the 8.
Absolutely. The problem here is actually holding the object ball, isn't it?
Well, you can use the 9, I think. You can cut it a little bit here and use the 9. Okay.
Wow.
Well, he's got that soft touch, but he didn't weld them.
No, but he made it look easier. He could have easily welded them with that stroke.
Now, I like diving into this ball with a hair spin with a little right. That way you're coming into the 4 and you can bank it up with the 5-6 tied up a little bit. You may get a snooker behind the 5-6.
Yeah, tuck behind him almost.
Might kick it in while putting him behind the 5-6 if you kind of come into it with a hair right?
And get some type of a look on the 5.
He's pretty sharp. Excuse me. He's pretty sharp with the kicking, so I'm sure he sees it.
A little far out, right?
Yeah, but on the slick table, you can make it hold pretty well. You have to judge it, though, well. What he's thinking is, let me not break out the 5-6. Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was thinking. I don't think he ever thought he was going to get below that ball either.
Right between them. Yeah, at that speed, if he hits the pink, he probably maybe comes behind the 8 and 9 with the cue ball, maybe with that spin. Now, if the 5 goes, I like position, but otherwise I like going forward off the top of the 5. Yeah, like this, and open them and let the 5 fall downward. If the 6 gets a little funny, well, so be it. Didn't like that, but that's the one I didn't like. I like going forward off the top of it, and that way the 5 stays there and the cue ball goes to the left side of the table. Like no danger, pretty much.
Yeah, it looked to me like I thought he was trying to go forward through the ball. I guess he just
A little higher tip because he's so close to the ball, right? So, no, that was doable, of course, and hard to question this guy. We talked about that earlier, but I think he just, didn't see going forward off of it.
Yeah, is he looking to bank this to the right?
Yeah.
Side pocket here. Backdoor cover on the 8-9.
And distance, if anything.
Yeah.
Did give him the bottom of the cue ball, though, so he's got a little options. He could come back purely with low right English, could cross it.
Yeah, I like the cross, but obviously for good reason.
Yeah.
50 years old.
Yeah, our last name isn't Kaci, so.
That too.
The 9 and the 8, myself. Straight ball.
Yeah, and you're really kind of thinking short here if you're playing it.
Yeah, just play the rail speed with the cue ball mainly.
Seven looks like a big ball there, but the problem is the 5 could open up for an easy jump or a straight in look. What's he got?
Yeah, just don't leave him the top of the purple here. Lay him on the rail behind the 7. Don't leave him the cross corner bank. That's the one you don't want to leave. Didn't suspect the cross side bank might come in play, but it's close. I don't think it's there, though, right? Cut the 5 and come behind the 7? Or come towards the 7, rather?
On it?
Yeah, just don't leave the long rail bank. That's the one you're kind of fearing here a little bit. Like a free long rail bank, he'll take that.
Yeah, nice little rub off the 8.
Well, great cue ball. I mean, most likely he was going to be okay. Sanjin and Moritz, Newhausen, table 2. Another hill match.
Yeah, and a huge match for Alivanovic.
All right, he's got a little piece. A lot of traffic.
Pretty incredible right there. Really. Even though he can see all of the 5.
Yeah, and what that was full commitment to the stroke. A lot of times when you're shooting balls, you make those strokes, but when you're trying to edge it, you kind of forget, hey, I got to stroke the ball, and did real well there. What's he do here? This is really tough. I don't think the bank to the right goes. The upper right. Is he playing the 6? I don't know. Is he just holding the cue ball?
Well, that tells us how tough it really was. I don't think he could get enough of the left side of the 5 to do anything special there, so maybe had to go towards the 6 and just double kissed it, Jay.
Tried to make the 6, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost a trick shot, really. The inside spin and draw. Now the lefty gonna have a little bit of a stretch, I think. I don't know.
Definitely one I think he goes forward on. There's no reason to contest with the 9. And really all credit to the shot that Yapp played on the 5 there. Get the cue ball back up and down, leaving so awkward for Kaci.
Yeah, I mean, with a little more thought, looking at it, I might have just framed him. Like, I mean, really kind of.
Yeah.
Nine down to tie this score. Looks like Sanjin in trouble for another loss here on day 1. And we're going to look at table 2 in Morris Newhausen to win Hill late on day 1.
Yeah, and you get the feeling this is much bigger for Sanjin than it is Newhausen. Back to the drawing board, Pelivanovic.
That one hit a little high on the pocket, but it did go down. And 2 of our, again, young stars and certainly future stars. All right, so watch this break from the big guy. And if you're watching at home, just, of course, the break and run out. And realize how many games you squeeze out here and there from it, and eventually win matches and tournaments.
Yeah, really good point, Jay. It's why guys like you and I actually decide to play an event like this every now and then, right? I think the format leads to that, right? The tight pockets, the 9 on the spot.
Oh, absolutely. And just want to see as much of the game as possible, especially when the great players are doing it and they do it, they just do it real well, simply. But, I mean, you go here, the 7's a big ball.
I don't know, but talk about go. There was a lot going on that break. Cue ball caught that kiss off the 9 again, back up to.
Well, I mean, this is a little bit, I think he's supposed to. I think he's at a higher percentage, and he likes it, though.
I mean, it was tough.
Well, there's always this element also. A lot going on.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real, though. Didn't even connect with the 7 at all.
I get it, but there was a lot of ways to make the 7, though. Rail first, double kiss, straight on. I mean, I think in the position,
Yeah.
he would have liked to have the cue ball out 6 more inches from the pocket, of course.
Well, that's what I was considering. Maybe Shane might have pushed out in that scenario, right? Just a little more to the left on the long rail or short rail or something. I don't know. Maybe just to make it a little easier for yourself.
Yeah, you ain't necessarily getting it back. That's
possible,
the point.
Right,
Kaci pretty handy along with the skills as far as pretty smart with the percentages also, I think.
I agree.
Plus, I think he liked it.
Clearly.
Okay, not a huge underdog here. A little bit. He's got to kind of soft spin it. He's not even going to try and make it. He's just floating behind the 8. Great shot.
Yeah, and where does he leave him here? How much up the 2 can he get? He can clearly get the top side of it, right?
Yeah. Do you bring the 2 out going behind the 6 and get it out in the center maybe? Or do you just use the 6 simply just to get the snooker? You know what I mean? Just play a soft one.
You want to bring the 2 across too far, I know that.
No, I mean just kind of out in the center or maybe even doubled up on the 8. I don't think you can really do that, but you could bring it across somewhat, though, like around the spottish middle area, because the 7 becomes a little odd.
Yeah, just not too much past there.
No, get him on the rail, though.
Exactly.
All right, he's killing it somehow, it looks like, with left spin. You got it somewhat odd.
Yeah, not terrible at all.
I think he wanted it on the side cushion or the end cushion, that being the cue ball. But that tells me it wasn't so natural to go by the 6, Scott. So he had to produce something with a little draw and a little left spin to slow the cue ball down to get by the 6.
Any value to end rail here?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, he'll probably chop the 2 by the 3 and bring you behind the 9, though. So he's trying to run the cue ball. He took a big chance. But you can't just lay up against these guys, where it's rail, and you got the 3, 4, 9 there. They're always going to cut the 2 behind the 3 and run you behind the 9 with the cue ball. So you got to go a little more with it, unless you absolutely have nothing. No.
Yeah, and I definitely wasn't saying just flat end rail to end rail, but I can't really use a telestrator. But they're definitely going to eat you alive, like Jeremy said, if you just leave them anywhere open end rail to end rail. Well, he did catch that paper thin. Well, this is kind of more what I was talking about, but he can lay.
You froze it, though.
Behind the 3. I just meant kind of like the angle J, where the cue ball's over to the right more and the object ball's more to the left, where it's a little tougher to use the
that's
3.
good enough, yeah. And if you feel good about freezing them on the rail, that's okay. Right. If you can at least make it difficult cueing and all that, that's all right. You don't have to hit it perfect.
But the 3's still a massive ball here.
And don't let up on your stroke if you're hitting the left side. At least let the cue ball run. Now he's going the other way with a little hook on the cue ball. It's like a little bit of a roll, especially now the 9 in the way. 2 rails off the top cushion. Try and come in behind it maybe, or straight at it.
Yeah, one of the 2 will work, right? Just go at it, 2 rails. You could get the backdoor carom or go straight into the 2.
Ball wants to lengthen it. Also, you could make the 7 actually coming off the bottom cushion. You could hit the bottom of the 2 and kiss the 7 in. Center ball, maybe. Not too long.
And you said the ball wants to lengthen, and it always does. Maybe a little more speed might have helped that, but he hit it pretty hard.
Yeah, I like cueing a little more downward myself. Seems like that ball wants to. The main thing is not understanding what it does. Is it's when it does it. Seems like the ball wants to turn over quicker. Sometimes on the new felt, it sounds like that shouldn't make sense, but it seems that way.
Yeah, a little shake of the head there, but I feel like he's just fine coming back.
Yeah, center ball, just kind of sweet it back. He's gotten a lot better at the stun as well. Now he's in close quarters here, so it shouldn't be a problem forward or stunning. I think the stun myself, but he's going forward. So he's just creeping across the edge of the box here off 2 cushions. Oh, he came with a lot of speed. He could have troubles here.
Yeah, I felt like it was easier to miss the ball that way as well.
Me too. Good call. I mean, I definitely thought that. I mean, thought forward could get you in a little trouble. And also sometimes the ball doesn't want to move as much on certain types of shots going forward. Just kind of surprised me. Hit that pretty nice. Got a lot out of the cue ball. Where you don't want to be shooting a 7 where it's going to have a lot of natural speed. You don't want it straight, of course, but you want to be able to control the speed somewhat.
Yeah, and this is one where you do not want to catch the rail first. You need to catch the ball first with that inside ball if you're coming around. He's done well. Very well.
Yeah, he's going to love that. He's just so close to it. This one he can cheat a little bit if he ends up being that way off the left rail. I wouldn't get crazy, and sometimes, you want to pinch this back to the bottom cushion. Just kind of slow draw over underneath the 9.
surprised at the pace. I thought he'd, like you kind of say, just drift it in. You know, you can afford to hit the ball a little worse that way.
Well, yeah, you can tell he never wanted to get that close to the 9, so his draw kind of became a little stunny, is what it seemed like to me, and that stun will make the ball want to bounce off the rail for some reason a little more than that sweeter draw stroke. Big moment early. That's surprising.
Yeah, you got to wonder if the beeps had something to do with that, but he's typically so used to it.
Yeah, he hit the ball well. Just, I thought he would just smooth it in, maybe even go at the 9 with a hair right English, and bump the 9, it's okay.
You can see what it means to these guys. Typically don't see any emotion out of Kaci.
No, bang, it fell in the corner pocket.
We talk about it a lot on New Cloth. When you're using a high ball at that speed, the cue ball's going to bend.
Yeah, but how straight's the stroke to hit it with that speed with a dead high ball and just pure it?
With the buzzer.
Yeah, with the buzzer, yeah. But, I mean, I thought that was, I wasn't saying it was a bad way to shoot it. It's just whenever he released it, I didn't expect him to be hitting it that hard. Kind of thought he'd sweet it a little more. And like I said, maybe go into the 9 if he felt like putting a hair more speed.
Almost could say the same for the 8 that Yapp missed.
Yeah, and it's been a long day. These guys started early and, of course, got a little break and got to do what they do. They're no rookies, that's for sure. But it's they're playing great, too. It's not like bad play by any means. It's just like a few unfortunate little things.
Yeah, just a couple funny things right at the right time, right? Or the wrong time.
All right. So we're going to see something probably to the top end with the push out. We'll see. I don't know if he can afford to leave the cue ball and to look at the 2 from this end of the table with so many things guarding first shot and safe and maybe just a pure safe. I think he's got to get it upstairs somewhere, Scott.
What about just rolling to the purple? Is that just crazy?
Boy. I mean, it may be touchy, but I hate to challenge him there unless he's going dead behind the 4 and 6. Even there, I think he's going to shoot. You almost give him a chance to, especially in alternate break, just had a bad roll, a little frustration. I might want to roll out here. Now here, I don't think you should roll out on this end. Too many easy safeties or even a free shot with a safety.
Yeah, I do not like this side. I meant rolling to the 5, the purple 5, and just leaving him long and straight. This way, you can bury him behind the 6 and 4. At worst, maybe even the 3, depending on which way you want to go.
If you want to play the dead safety, I think I go behind the 3, to be honest. But if you just want to play the 2-way, I think I go behind the 4-6, try to pocket the 2 to the upper left. Red.
Yeah, behind the 3. The 3 is actually a big ball. I don't know that he's going that way, though. I can't quite tell.
Yeah, if he gets this 2 up a little bit behind the 3 ball, ooh, he's sold out maybe.
Yeah, he caught the 2 a lot thinner than he wanted.
I think he's open here.
He is.
Kind of elevated a little bit. Just needs to get across the head spot. He can handle a little cut on the 3.
Yeah, got the most out of that on the slippery cloth, in my opinion.
Yeah, he really curved into it big time. I mean, I say big time for a shot like that, you know, where you could just level out. All right, there's a few obstacles here. Gotta have good speed. Coming 2 cushions, whichever it's long, 2 cushions, or tight 2 cushions. Got the 8 to worry about a little bit.
I like your first call. I think the long play is really the least amount of risk. You can still land flat on the purple.
Yeah, just feel that bounce off the third rail. That's all you want to feel. That's
Right.
enough. In close quarters, whole top side of the table you can see very open.
As you come to the second rail here on the left, sure does. This is going to be real nice. And this is all preference. He can just stop on the brown. Pinch it back a little bit.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of heat on the brake for Kaci in the next game. Going to be, you know, you don't say do or die. We've seen already 4-1s in the last match. Even came back to 4-4 before SVB took it down, but he's going to want to bounce back. I like coming for the corner here. Same corner pocket. Just let the cue ball open up a little bit off a couple cushions.
Yeah, pretty natural, right? Hard to get the speed wrong, really.
Got it a little thick to the pocket. Just a little. Usually uses a little light stun here as long as he's not worried about the side pocket. You saw a pause in the last one. You won't see that here, I don't think. See it how the transition was a little smooth. There's certain shots he has a little pause. Certain shots he doesn't.
Yeah. Labutis, kind of the same way, does that at times. I think a lot of the guys do, actually. I've seen some of them more than others, but some are exaggerated, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's, you know, tempo gets in there, you know, heart gets going. Things get a hair off sometimes. So, you know, we see it in every sport, really. And get to know players that shoot the basketball a certain way. You can tell when it ain't right. Golfers, when they swing, you can tell it ain't right. But they still manage to do pretty well overall, even when it's off a little bit. Okay, we know he breaks hard. This one might have a little extra.
JJ touching on maybe a little more power, and there you see it. And the 9 was rifling to the lower left. And look at the 2. Par for the course. Talk about frustration. Take a look at the 9. Just to the bottom rail. The 2 finishing in about the toughest spot on a 9-foot table that it can finish.
Yeah, and may bank at this. I think it does go. Cross corner. Thing is here, when I'm in this situation and I decide I think I'm supposed to bank at it, I kind of ignore the safety for the most part. I mean, of course, you got to draw the cue ball. But I really don't try to, like, draw safe too much. I rarely make it.
Yeah, just depends. I mean, if that 2 is up where I think it could be, it might just kind of like sponge down towards the 6. They can do that at times, you know what I mean? To where it's laying almost on the curve of the point.
Yeah, it's possible. Well, you're certainly going to draw the cue ball, but I think I give it a good chance to go. You want something to slow down here or speed up, one of the two.
Well, I kind of feel like
he's an underdog a little bit, maybe. It's close.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like he deserved a little bit of a roll there. It's not over yet, though. This guy is great. Short range with the jump cue.
You know, I think about these players that, you know, like Yapp. You know, I think about players changing equipment. It wasn't long ago he changed also. And, you know, I talk to them and they talk about little things. And, you know, it takes a little bit. And it just makes you realize how dialed in they are, you know, when they play and how much practice they put in. Because I feel like as great as they are, they could, what a shot that was, by the way, and that they could get used to a cue a lot quicker. But, you know, they put in so much time. They're so detailed with their equipment.
Yeah, like we've talked about, it's just an extension of their body, right? And here, add insult to injury for Kaci, 3-9. Well, does he even play it?
I think so. I think he's supposed to. 3 may trickle in with speed also. Oh, no, he's playing the safety.
Yeah, it's the way he addressed the cue ball. I thought he was going to play it, but that's why I mentioned, does he even play it? It looked like he might have changed his mind.
I kind of like the 3-9, I thought, anyways. I mean, of course, it was a little cut. It wasn't dead by any means, but
yeah, you got to believe Kaci's thrilled to be back at the table.
Yeah, I agree, Scott. And again, the percentages of how many times you win the game from this spot compared to how often you make that 9, and I think it's a lot closer, maybe, or even a favorite making the 9.
Does he go straight at this ball, or does he come to the bottom rail?
If you're comfortable with 2 rails, I think Efren comes 2 at this one, just the way that it lays. It lays nice to get separation. As long as you don't hit it full, you can hit it underneath. I like coming across it myself, going up the table with the cue ball like that. It just sat so well. He's really going to be upset.
Yeah. Don't punish the cue for it, Kaci.
Well, he could probably bite that cue ball in half at the moment.
Literally. He's not a small fella. A little cold-blooded, to be honest. You couldn't hit that much cleaner.
Yeah, we talked about him earlier today that, you know, not a subject I think the public hears about enough, but how good certain players are tactically and kicking at the ball. And Kaci's talked about by a lot of the great players how good he is. Hard to get a lot of reward in that department from him.
Yeah, well, look at the finals there in Jeddah with him and Gorst. I mean, he came with so many great kicks. What about the combination kick he made into the side? It was amazing.
Yeah, that will never be forgotten. 2 rails back and forth to the center, a little past it maybe.
Oh, that cue ball really checked up off the second rail.
Well, we can see a lot of pull. See the break up there where the marks are. I mean, they're getting broke in a little bit. Expect rain some in the next few days.
You talk about a player, when they get over the ball, that stays still. Boy, Yapp has to be in the top of the conversation. Doesn't move a muscle.
Well, one thing you can learn from him also, like I said, when he's in good position, he tries to keep good position to the next one. He understands when to be aggressive with the cue ball and when not to. Little preference here. I mean, you got different options.
MVP this year at the Rays Cup as well, Jeremy.
Yeah, he came with some shots. That's the option I like. If it rolls me into somewhere I like, that's good by me usually.
Yeah, you can boil an egg on Kaci's forehead right now.
But I'm sure you felt this before, and you know,
Yeah.
when you struggle, it's like it, to me, it looks like he has his game back to me. You know, maybe just a match or two from some confidence, or maybe, you know, winning some big matches, maybe handily over some great players, you know, like he's used to doing at times. But I think, you know, when you struggle and maybe took some time off trying to get it back like he had at the end of the year last year, sometimes, you know, the pool gods will make it kind of like, hey, you got to earn a little bit more, big boy, you know?
No, really fair point, right? And I think that's part of the frustration, right? He's literally on the verge of you know, winning again. And I think that sending him.
Yeah, well, he told me he's going to some extra tournaments in the U.S. here next month that he normally wouldn't be on his schedule. So I don't think that's because of frustration. I think that's because of a positive thing that he really likes where he's starting to go with his game.
Absolutely. And he's cutting weight, right? So he's really putting some effort into what's happening.
Yeah, he's definitely a bunch of players. The man breaking the balls has shed a few. He's going to love this. I think the two's coming up with the cue ball. Looking to close the door with a very convincing win over one of the best in the game.
Yeah, and you can look back at maybe the 8 that Kaci hit with that pace after Yapp missed it up into the top left, right? Then Kaci lost the cue ball into the lower right. Just a little surprised at the speed at which he released the cue ball on the 8 there.
Yeah, and Yapp doesn't make many mistakes. He hasn't made many. Maybe the 8. The only one he's really upset with. Again, doesn't back off to the middle of the table, gets nice and tidy in here on this pink. I mean, just a really smart player.
Yeah, and always aware of staying steep on the purple to get to the green. Can actually afford getting straight in here on the green. It's probably better than an angle.
Yeah, as long as he bounces off the second rail, there really isn't anything bad. He's got about a 6 or 8 inch, you know, where he can work with to draw the ball still up the right side of the table. So I expect him to go to the second rail here. Oh, he's going to play twice. That's surprising.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little more work for the cue ball, right?
Well, I think it's about the only way you can get funny on the 7 to get to the 8. You know what I mean? Now you're worried about falling straight, so you need to come short across. Or is he just pulling this?
I feel like it was a little more work that way versus falling pretty flat on the 6, right? You're going to move the cue ball 4 feet versus 8.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the pocket size is small here, but they are playable. So if you're worried about drawing the ball, maybe affording a miss on the 6, maybe. But otherwise, there were more things could go a hair wrong this way. I think if you just, you know, ran it a million times, right? But still, if you like it, and again, he was in good position on the 6 to do so. He can hold or kind of stun up. Probably holds.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you just hold there for that left middle, it's a little steep. Did have room to cheat it to the lower left corner. Really great performance, Jeremy.
Yeah, yes, it was. And he spent a lot of time on the practice table. 5-1 victory over Eklund Kaci. Both of them will be back along with everyone, all 16 players. We're going to get a look at the board here, I believe.